Well, I'll tell you where some of this came from. In 1988, I was asked to do a marketing pitch for Herman Miller at Neocon, and they're the furniture manufacturer. So I started off with a 2-day workshop on what is it we're going to say. We learned all of their messages. We're agile, we're service-oriented, we're above a club. So the way I responded then was, let's do this. You're talking about Charles and Ray Eames like they still are alive. Let's take the last frame of Powers of 10, which you show, but they actually did for IBM. And let's start our work right there. Let's let that be our first frame. And let's make certain that every marketing message on this list is driving the color and the form. We're going to hire a couple of dancers, a male and a female, and I'm going to read to them your marketing messages, and they're going to respond. But they're going to respond all tethered up like an early video game, and we're going to take that code from their elbow and their hip, and we're going to drive everything. So if I had the presentation tonight, you would kind of get what I thought was exciting. By the way, the things ended up looking like this, the video stuff, and here were the dancers, and our test frame was this one with the little 13 nodes and the stick figure. And that was the first frame. The molecular thing at the end of Powers of 10 became our first frame, and then it just started to get pretty. In the middle of the process, they go, oh no, you got to make certain that you show the new logo. We've taken George Nelson's logo and put it in a circle. And then the last, and this little guy, our stick figure, one of the things was answers and choices. It's like, that's such a lame piece of language. But the guy's like balancing answers and choices. Like he's holding plates. And the logos, we see this now with the Chase commercial, but this was 1998, and we're doing these logos, and they were moving through space with the wave of a hand, the code of a hand, and it was fantastic, because in the installation, people were stopping by these trilons. I may show you if I have it. See, oh yeah, also now we're at the end, we did 52 minutes of video, because we had to segment up 52 minutes. And we were burning it. I have 2 students from the Art Institute who are helping do this. It's 3 people. And the 11th hour comes, and another marketeer says, we have reserved the right to 6 photographs at like 3 times our budget. Can you make certain those photos are in the film? So we did. And there we are, the stick figures making fun of the photos. Fortunately, we had some code to do that. Oh, and here's the thing. So we designed these little trilons and had them made. And so here's what we see here. I just want to give you a little glimpse. It has no sound or anything. But it's like what we were able to do. This was like a little test I did after the fact. It's emphasizing real human presence. And I bring this up because I think whether you're doing analog work or you're doing digital work, you're doing print, you're doing online, it doesn't matter. It's that real human presence, because at the end of the day, when you reach your hand out, it's pretty hard for someone to not shake it. When you whisper to them, it's pretty hard for them not to say anything. But if you're pretending like you really are communicating, this brochure is going to 1 million people and this website's going, you're like losing the point. The point is, at the end of the day, it's one-to-one. So how are you going to make your presence reach their presence? And when you can like stop keyframing, it's like that hand thing that goes, it starts in this axis, and then it goes to this y-axis, and ends up over here in the z space. It's like, stop doing it like that, and imagine new ways to communicate that are a lifetime worth of experiments. How do we get it to feel alive? So you saw that was like pretty cool. It's like the Bauhaus Oscar Schlemmer models. Okay, let me just see here what I got. Got time for one more, and then we'll end. Last one. That was commercial work. So about 5 or 6 years later, I'm interested in issues related to corporate identity. And it was in the post-swoosh mode, where there was the swoosh of Nike, and then that turned into the swoosh everywhere. Even Al Gore had the swoosh. It was like, what happens if every corporate identity looks the same? Will every company send the same message? And the answer, of course, is yes. on some level. The code's the same. If you have something red, that means the same thing as the next person's red sweater. Well, I was curious about taking that to the personal level. And if somebody looked like me, if they had the same inherent code, larger than normal nose, some facial hair, expressive eyes, tired eyes, whatever, would they have had the same thing to eat for breakfast? Would they have, kissed the same person for their first kiss? Whatever. And the answer, of course, is no, but where would the similarities be? So I put this ad in the Reader, and it was a quarter-page ad. It just said, I'm interested in someone for serious photographic research. It said, is this you? Yes, faces wanted for serious photographic research, 5 to 6 foot tall, black or brown hair, emotional eyes, larger than normal nose, and facial hair optional. But I'll pay you $10 if you show up on a Saturday morning and get your picture taken. And my deal was, I was going to print every person who showed up in a small brochure showing off a new typeface we've done called Apex, and I would put them in the order that they showed up. So here they are. Now there was Larry. Now what's very interesting to me is Larry saw himself in that diagram. $10 wasn't really enough. You couldn't buy a CD. So it wasn't for the money that they would go out of their way. Maybe it was. I don't know. Now what's amazing to me is nobody's related. They just happen to be juxtaposed by the sequence that they showed up. Like these two guys look like they're the same guy. The iron filing beard. And this looks like a daughter and a father. They're not related. Up in the corner we have a little infographic. Since all their eyes are at the same plane, the infographic identifies their height. And all the content about them, like it says, what is this? But he's 51, I forget what serious code this was here. And then your sign, like she's a Taurus, what's your sign? He wrote no smoking. What name do you hate to be called? She didn't want to be called Shelley. He says he hates to be called, I can't be called, I don't have a phone. So, you get content. Now when Jose showed up that morning, I said, you know what, he's my sign, he's my age, I'm going to be right next to Jose, so I stopped the process. And then came Damien, like the guy with the perfect features. If I could have him, I would have him. And Matt comes in, and then these two guys come with matching jawlines and glasses. Look at these guys, they're like related, but they're not. Here's the iron filing guy. Isn't it amazing they saw themselves in that little drawing? And since I like to tell stories about when I had my picture taken, we've decided to put a special bonus on a bulletin board. It was like pre-Twitter, and the bonus said, for $20, the first person who comes having seen this ad. So Jonah shows up, and poor Jonah here, he locks his keys in his car, okay, first bummer, and he comes out and he finds a boot on his car. Oh. Cost him a lot of money for $20. Okay, so at the end it was like, okay, now how do I end this book? Because it just kind of worked out that it was like lame. So I thought we're going to look and see if indeed the archetype of that drawing existed with everyone. And by layering everybody in equal proportion, that's everybody on the left side of the spread, that's everybody on the right, and there's everybody. And sure enough, they all kind of look like that drawing. It's haunting. A little bit of me in everyone. So, that's all I have to show. I have lots more to click through, but I think we're about done. You've been really patient.